who you were, like your background, where you came from,
Yeah.
your journey, like
Yeah.
how long it's been, the challenges in there, things like that. And at the end of the day, if someone is watching the video, they should be able to walk away with some lessons, some inspiration, something to just keep them moving, something to look up to. Who knows? Someone might even make you their mentor. Someone is like, what would AC say, or what would AC do if she were in this situation? Things like that. And also, most importantly, to also sell yourself, sell your business, your services, and you never know who is watching and who might be able to say support you in one way or the other. So that's the whole idea for this um, discussion. So officially, we're
Thank you.
starting.
Okay.
Okay, welcome, AC. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here too.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one. So I'm sure you already know all about this conversation, this session. So without further ado, could you tell us more about yourself? Who is Essie? And yeah, what is there to know?
Okay, so first of all, my name is Essie Berkoh, and currently I'm a medical student, a graduate entry medical student at the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. And prior to that, I did my master's degree in immunity and human disease at the University of Leeds. And I also did my undergrad in biological sciences in Mahalia College in the US. And prior to that, I did my primary and secondary school education in Ghana. So going more into my journey in school, as I said, I'm currently a medical student, but in my undergrad, I did biological science. So every summer in school, after school, I used to come home to Ghana to do an internship at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. So I really, really enjoyed my time there. I met so many other students from different schools in Ghana and outside Ghana, and I really loved the experience. So that led me into my interest in my master's degree. So, but after I finished school, I was contemplating between finding a job in the US and then continuing with my research education. So at the point of when I graduated, I knew I wanted to go to med school. At the same time, I was also interested in research work. So I was torn between the two. And as a Christian, and I believe in God and I believe in purpose, I prayed to God about this decision. And I felt strongly that God wanted me to do my research program. So, although it doesn't seem that it's the one that's supposed to lead me to where I want to go, that's medicine, that's what I felt like God wanted me to do. So, I indeed applied to the University of Leeds in the UK. And if you know about any Ghanaian or anyone who is trying to apply to master's programs in the UK, they'll tell you it's so hard to get
Yeah.
scholarships and it's not that easy. So, I mean, everybody told me that, but since I was basically sure that that's what God wanted me to do, I went ahead and applied. So I sent in my application in the evening, and then I went to bed. And because of the time difference, I guess it was in the morning in the UK. So I slept and woke up around 4 a.m. Like I was so anxious. 4 a.m. I woke up and went back to the portal to check if what was the progress of the application. I didn't think there would be anything there at the time because I knew it would take a while. But when I opened the portal, lo and behold, my application was actually rejected. I was like, I don't
Oh,
understand.
oh.
How can I pray about this and God say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I think you should go ahead with this, and then I apply and then I get rejected. So I just, was disappointed. I was sad, but I just went on to do my quiet time. I prayed and was preparing for the day's activity because I was still in school. So I had class that day. And then I think I would say the Holy Spirit just popped this in my head that I should email the school and find out why my application was rejected,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So I went ahead and sent an email explaining everything and then asked them why my application was rejected so I can, maybe prepare better for the next application cycle. So I sent them an email and it was just within a few minutes I got a response and they were like, okay, they would review my application because for their requirements, they required me to do a number of courses I hadn't done. But prior to my application, I looked through their website to look for the requirements. I also even emailed the department to ask of any specific requirements before I applied and told them what I had done already. And then the school told me that I had what it took to apply. So that's why I went ahead in the first place. And so they agreed to review my application, and glory to God, within an hour of my rejection email, I got an email, congratulations, you've been
Wow.
accepted. Yes, yes.
Wow.
You've been accepted into the master's program, which was like a really big deal for me
Yeah, it is.
because yeah. And yeah, so to our audience watching, I think I also take this time to encourage anyone who is feeling strongly about something, a direction in their life that they feel like it's quite difficult, they don't know how they'll fund the initiative that they have, if they want to start a project or they want to go back to school or something. I just want to encourage you that if you believe that's where you're supposed to be, I'm sure there's going to be a way, and you have to be persistent and pray to God about it, and He will just make a way for you, as you've seen in my situation. So that's yeah. By the way, so the master's program itself wasn't so easy, and if you've done a master's degree, you know how intense it is, and it's just 1 year, so it's really, really intense. But glory to God, I came out successful. I got a distinction. I even got an award for the best project for my whole course, and also
Oh,
the Dean's Award. So
wow.
imagine if through the difficult times I had given up, because it was
Yeah.
really tough. It was
Mm-hmm.
really, really tough. And I actually almost wanted to drop out of the course because I couldn't handle the stress at the time. And it was a
Yeah.
very different shift coming from the US education system to the UK education system. It was very different. So, but by God's grace, I persevered and then I came out successful. So, after my master's degree, I wanted to still go back to the med school in the US, but then in the US, you need to take an entrance exam known as the MCAT exam, and that exam. I didn't know at the time that there were only a few registration centers in the UK. I thought there were several registration centers in the UK. So at the time that I was ready and I tried to apply, all the registration center, the one registration center in London was full. So I couldn't apply at that time. And then at that time, after school, you had to come back straight to Ghana because you can try and apply for jobs within a few months. I think 3 months or 6 months, I don't remember. But after that period, if you don't find a job, you come back to Ghana. So I indeed tried to find jobs as well in the UK whilst trying to prepare for my MCAT, and both of them didn't work out. So I came back to Ghana in January 2020. So right before the coronavirus pandemic started and everybody had to go on lockdown. So immediately I got to Ghana, about a few weeks later, there was a lockdown and everything was shut down. So yeah, so when I came back, I had to re-strategize and replan because I said the initial plan was to go back to med school. So there were options in Ghana as well. So in Ghana, we have 2 graduate entry programs, one in UCC and one at the University of Ghana. So that was the plan now, to apply to these 2 programs. But when I got here, the University of Ghana program was closed. So I applied to the UCC program. And that was later on in the year, around in October or so. So that was later. So before then, when I got here and there was lockdown, everything was shut down, I was really bored because I really don't like not doing anything. Every summer when I was in college, I used to come back to do internships. So my whole summer was filled with working at the lab or shadowing a doctor at the hospital or something. So there was never a time where I had like lots of months doing nothing. So I just couldn't stay at home. I was just feeling jittery. So at that time, I wasn't so happy as well because I said all my plans all the things I initially wanted to accomplish, I wasn't able to. So I kept on praying and like looking for other opportunities. And I just woke up one day with like this strong desire to do something about business. So before that, in school, I used to bake sometimes, watch YouTube videos and then bake, and then do some creative things. So that's how I started my first business. So my first business, I decided to bake and then sell them because I was just bored and wanted something to do. And thanks to social media, Instagram, my family and friends, I was able to advertise my products for people to see and patronize. So I think my very first customer was my dad. So he invested in my business by patronizing and bought 2 cakes for two of his friends at church for their birthdays. And I was so excited because like I didn't know who would be my first customer,
Yeah.
and I needed someone to actually purchase so that I can start showing people what I'm doing and all those things. But before even he patronized, I did a few cupcakes, and then like when my cousin's birthdays are coming up, I would make a birthday cake. My first cake was actually Mother's Day. I made a cake for my mom. It wasn't so great, but it was like a learning experience. And then I made some and shared it with my neighbors and friends as well. So I started my Instagram page. My sister really encouraged me to start an Instagram page and start posting pictures because she believed in the power of social media. And yes, it was really, really helpful. When I posted, I was really surprised. Many people started ordering, and then my skills started improving. I kept on watching YouTube videos to improve my skills and make content like the level I had into. So I was always watching different YouTube videos on how to make my crafts better. And I also have an aunt who bakes. So I went to her and told her that I started a baking business and I wanted her to teach me some of the skills that she had learned. So she is actually she teaches home economics at the secondary school level, and then she also bakes. So I went to her and then she taught me so much that I couldn't have learned on my own or from YouTube alone. So yes, as we all know, if someone is trying to start a new business, there are so many resources out there. You can start from YouTube and watch YouTube videos about how to just everything, like almost everything I'll say is on YouTube or on the internet now. And then you should also invest in the human resources that you have around you. So with my aunt like this, when I went to her, she taught me for free and I didn't have to pay. And she invested her knowledge and her time into me. So it's improved my business. And aside that too, my friends and my family who shared my flyers. I was always disturbing my cousins, my siblings, everyone to share my flyer. And thankfully they all did, and I was able to get a lot of clients through their generosity. When they shared the flyers, I really got a lot of clients. So that's how it started. And then at the same time, it was close to Father's Day at the time that I started my baking business. So I also decided to start with gift wrapping. That's how come Wrap GH, my small business, started. So I started with gifts, wrap gifts for fathers. They made flyers and shared it. And it was a very new business and no one knew about me. So my first clients, again, were my family and so my aunt purchased one for an uncle, my sister's friends purchased, and yes, my one of my family friends also purchased one. So this was like a big booster for me to know that everything I'm doing, like people will be interested if I commit to it and put in the effort. So that's how it started. My mom was also very supportive of me, taking me around, driving me everywhere to look for items to buy and all of that. So all these things were the building blocks of my business. Mine started with the help of my friends and my family, mostly my family, so I would say. So they helped me in so many ways that I can't imagine if they hadn't. Yes, so that's how RapGH started. So I'll end here with the introduction.
Wow. This is awesome. This is really, really, really awesome. I have some questions in there, but I wanted you to kind of land, so at least I'll be able to ask the few questions in there. So I see like two main areas here. There are some segments of individuals out there who are interested in pursuing medicine, but some well, due to one or two reasons, are considering studying outside Ghana or outside Africa. I'm sure their concern is, how do I start? What's the process? You know, and I think you've already mentioned some of the things to really look out for. One, being resilient, being persistent, never giving up. But that's not enough. Are you able to take us through some of the steps one should have at the back of his or her mind if they intend or plan to study medicine outside, say, Ghana or Africa?
Okay, so I'll say the very first thing I would encourage anybody trying to do medicine in any country, whether in Ghana or anywhere else, is you have to be very persistent, because the medical journey, when you get in, it's in itself, it's not easy at all. If I should bring any of my classmates to tell you about the medical education system, they will tell you it's not easy at all. It's very doable, but you have to be very, very persistent. And for someone who wants to do their degree abroad, I would say that it's not easy at all as well, but it's very, very doable. Especially for my experience, I know only about the US system. So if you want to do your medical education in the US, I think they do not. Theirs is like a second degree, so it's not undergrad. It's you finish 4 years of your undergrad and then you apply to the medical school in the US. So if you want to go to medical school in the US, I think the first thing you should think about is, what level are you at right now? So if you are a high school student and you want to do your medical education in the US, you can start by applying to an undergrad degree in the US, first of all, so that you be grounded in the education system in the US. That's very, very helpful, because their education system is very different from Ghana, and it entails a lot. So if you're in high school right now, what I'll encourage you to do is to look into applications into the undergraduate program. That's the first degree in the US. And then you go on from there. So if you're already maybe in your first degree right now and you want to go to the US to do your medical degree, I think most schools at the time I was applying required you to US first. So maybe you can go through a
Your line,
master's degree. I don't know
your line was
other
breaking
options. Maybe you can
at
go
that
and
point.
do.
We missed you at that side. The second point you made right now, the line was breaking. So
Okay.
if you're able to come again.
Okay, so I was saying that if you're already you're doing your first degree right now and you want to do your medical degree in the US, I think most schools I was applying to required at least 2 years of education in the US. So if you want to go through that route, it's a very long route. I'm not going to tell you, it's not easy at all. So you would have to go and probably do a master's degree, or you have to do I forgot the name of this program, but it's okay. There's a post-bac program where people who have already finished university enroll in the post-bac program and then prepare for medical school. But I don't know if they are open to international students or not. But if you need any help in that regard, you can contact me. I'm sure my details will be put in the description box after this interview. So yeah. And then, so after you finish that 2 years, there are certain requirements that you would have done if you went to college there. So there are some courses that are required before med school. So biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, some calculus, an English course, and a few requirements before med school. And if you're in high school, you're now going to college, you should know that you can do any major in the university and still get into med school, provided you're able to finish all the requirements like biology and chemistry, all the pre-med requirements. So you can be a psychology major and still get into med school, provided you've done the courses that I mentioned. And some of the requirements are specific to each school. So you would also have to look on the school's website to be sure what the requirements are. So aside that, I think one of the biggest things aside persistence is to know everything you involved in the process. Like you have to be thoroughly informed. You have to like ask people who have gone through the process, try as much as possible to find people ahead of you who were international students who went through the process, people who were citizens there who went through the process. Look for interviews on YouTube, podcasts, wherever you find information. I think that's the biggest thing that you should, so that you will know what goes into it, like everything that you need to know, what goes into it, your resume, what they look out for, the kind of person that you are supposed to be, the kind of skills you're supposed to develop before entering med school. I think if you have the opportunity and you have time, you have to research as much as you can on all these things that are required before you actually start the process. You have to know how much money would go into it, because the exam is not cheap. You would have to pay money to register for the exam, and then also resources to study for the exam as well, like question banks to practice and other resources. Maybe your school that you'll be attending might have these resources for you for free or at a reduced cost, but then just get to know the information. And also don't rely on your school, people in your school alone. Like reach out to anyone possible that you can reach out to, because you never know the things that you get to know when you reach out to students from other schools. Before I came to Ghana, I reached out to a few of my friends and I joined them a WhatsApp group chat, and it was so helpful. Like if I had only based on the information from my school to prepare, I don't think I would have been adequately prepared. But when I reach out to other friends outside my school, they also had very unique experiences that they shared with me that I think were very useful. So that's what I'll tell someone looking to pursue medical education in the US.
Okay. All right. So you've heard it all. If you're interested in studying medicine, do explore the opportunities within your current enabling environment, or say your country. But if you're considering the US of A, these are the steps to keep in mind, or let me say some of the key things to note. And if you require further detail or assistance, please do get in touch with Essie. She's very responsive. She'll attend to your needs. And yeah, she's always willing to help. So, all right. You are really, really eloquent, and I love that. Just to, yeah. I have a few more questions. So, what industries? You've mentioned three main things here. You have the medicine side. You've also mentioned your two side business that you are currently working on. The cake business, right? Cupcakes, cakes, and also the wrap GH business. How are you able to combine the two? And what industries are you currently serving? I know the cake is in the food industry. Wrap is in the help me out.
I don't know, I'll say recreational.
Okay, so wrap GH is in the recreational industry. But what industries are your two businesses serving? And how's your traction like? How are you managing your customers? And how are you looking out for new markets? What's your strategy? If you don't mind giving us a tip over there as a guide for upcoming entrepreneurs who are hoping to venture into, say, an area like that.
Okay, so I'll say the cake business is in the food industry. So right now, when I'm in school, I'm in UCC in Cape Coast. I don't bake when I'm in school, but when I come home for the vacations, that's when I work on that. And yeah, so with that one, my strategy, so when I was fully at home and had all the time, I think, as I said earlier, one of the biggest avenues for me was social media. So I think no one should look down on the power of social media and the power of your immediate family and friends, the network that you have right now. So I first started by learning about this whole baking from YouTube. I learned every single skill from YouTube. I didn't know how to bake from anywhere. I didn't go to a professional school to learn how to bake. The very first instructions and lessons I took were all from YouTube, and they were all free. With having access to internet, I was able to do that. And so that was the first step. And then aside that, with social media as well, to know the places to get supplies. When I was in Ghana, I just randomly searched cake supplies on Instagram, and I found a lot of different shops popped up, and I was able to call them and then find out their locations and go there in person. And sometimes I only ordered online and it was delivered to me. So I'll say that no one should downplay the power of social media in their business, in learning about their business, and also progressing into finding clients for their business. So with finding clients, I put in a lot of, I invested in a lot of ads when I started. So aside sending my flyers to my family and friends to post on their WhatsApp status, to post on Instagram and all the groups that they found themselves in, I also paid what we call influencers on social media to promote my page for me. So I remember I paid a couple of influencers on Instagram specifically to promote my cake business. And all they do is you send a sample of your product. So if it's whatever it may be, if it's food, if it's clothes, or whatever services that you render, you can send them a sample, and then they can try it out and then show it to their followers. And then with that, you get a lot of clients. So with looking for influencers to advertise your business, I think there are so many things to look out for. I think the first thing for me was my budget. At the time, I didn't have a big budget at all. I was just using my own allowance. So I didn't have enough money to go to like those big influencers that everybody knows who would charge a really big amount. But I invested in like young people who were relatable to the people of my age group. And yes, with that, it was a small fee and I was able to pay. And then I got quite a number of followers and then people who also so I built my page through that, exposing my business to numerous people by placing the products on other people who have a massive following, greater than I can do alone and even the people around me could do. So aside that, I also engage in projects called or things that people do on social media called giveaways. I know most people have heard about these
Yeah.
things. So people would sponsor an event or try and give people free gifts so that they can expose their business to an audience. So you can connect with people who have a big audience if they're having an event or they are doing a program, and then you can tell them, okay, I want to sponsor your event. I want to bring my products to your event. If it's food, if it's anything that you have. So if it's souvenirs, you can just collaborate with a different business page that has a bigger audience and then share your products with them. And it's definitely will come at a cost to you, but it's really worth it. And through that, I was able to build my Instagram following and also expose my business to quite a number of people, and that was helpful. So those were, I would say, family and friends and social media were my biggest avenues for the success of my business. Yes.
Okay, nice, nice, very, very good. There are lots of insight in there, and for those listening, if you were paying attention, she has given lots of strategies to help you boost your initial traction or your go-to-market approach. How to get initial customers, how to make some sales as a startup. I think this is really, really good. Thank you, Essie. I have some few more questions if you don't mind. Um, a key concern is um, COVID is still on the rise. Unfortunately for us, it's been a year plus, and well, it's still out there. How is it affecting your business, and how is the work from home trend also impacting your business?
Okay, so COVID has affected so many businesses and has changed the structure of the way we interact with people generally. But I would say for me personally, it has rather been an advantage because before COVID, I wasn't into business before COVID, and I would have expected that people would be more willing to go out there when it was a lockdown, people would prefer probably to go out there, purchase their own product, and then come back and then present it to whoever they wanted. Because my industry was mostly about gifting. So cakes, most people who bought my cakes were supposed to be gifting it to other people. Only a few of my clients were buying for personal consumption. So it was mostly for giving to other people. And also the gift, Rap GH, most of my gifts are for to buy for people's birthdays, people's anniversaries, graduation gifts. And yes, so I think COVID was an advantage for me personally, because at the time everybody was on social media because we're all at home. Most people were not in school or working, so everybody was on social media. Everybody was at home and then had time on their hands. So I used the pandemic to my advantage, although I would say it depends on the industry. So for example, if you are in the tourism industry, for instance, it would affect you to a very big extent. And but in some industry, or you can even use it to your own advantage in different ways if you able to come up with brilliant ideas for people, even in this COVID era. So to me, it was an advantage because everybody was at home, nobody wanted to go out, and then people would have preferred to just order online and then have their packages delivered. And then you would also have to assure your clients that you are keeping everything to the maximum sanitary conditions as possible, because we know that COVID can spread from one person to the other. Yeah. So with my delivery people, I would encourage them to always wear their mask to ensure that when they're interacting with the clients, they keep themselves at a distance, protected and everything. So although COVID was a disadvantage to many, for my two businesses, I think it was an advantage because I really had a time and to learn. Probably if it wasn't COVID, I would have probably been working, I would have gone out to work, but I rather stayed home and started a small business. So for me, it was an advantage.
Okay. Nice one. But then, are there any challenges that you are facing as a startup, and how are you managing them?
Yes, so as a startup, so as I told you, all my education was nothing in business, economics, or entrepreneurship or anything like that. Everything was solely in sciences and research. So I basically had no formal training or education in entrepreneurship. And everything that I learned as well was from experiences of other bakers. So I was always watching YouTube videos on how to start a bakery, how to start this kind of business, the things that you need to do, and was also following other people on social media who probably were more willing to share the idea. So I would say one of the first challenges for me personally was finding the initial stages was for finding funding for my business. And then the second stage was also finding clients who were willing to patronize my business, as most startups would have. So with finding funding, if I had waited to find a big sum of money to start on a very big level, I think I'll still not have started my business at this time. So what I did was that I had some money from my allowance that my parents gave me when I was in school, and that's what I used to start my business. So for my cake business, I started with a hand mixer, and I basically used a hand mixer, and I bought just a few ingredients. I didn't buy a lot of ingredients, and I basically started from my mom's kitchen. I used some of her products even for my first business. So that's, I would say, a solution to the funding. Like, you have to start small and then grow big. You might not always have the opportunity to have funding opportunities. In other countries, you might be able to apply for a startup fund or something like that, but I didn't know of any startup fund that I could apply for. Maybe in Ghana, there are other ones, but for my type of business, I didn't know where I could apply for funding. So I used my personal savings, and I started with one hand mixer and then a few items. And when people patronize my products, I put everything back in the business. I wasn't taking any profits out for my personal use. I put everything back straight into the business, and that is how I solved the problem of funding for me. So at a point, I was able to go ahead and purchase a bigger mixer. So I was able to, my work I wasn't so stressed when I had to do multiple cakes. I was able to do more cakes in a shorter time. And further on, as I went ahead, I also got some of my family members also sometimes would give me money for my business, to invest in my business for free, not to pay back, just a gift. So that's how I started with my business. I started, yes. And sometimes I would also say there are certain things I also, for the gift business, for instance, I didn't have all the money to do multiple gifts, but I started small, and then I'll just make one package and take pictures of the package. And then if someone purchases it, I'll make another package and take pictures, or even like purchase some with the money from my baking business, and then post the pictures online just to get people interested in the business. And then another thing too is that at the time, the scamming rate on Instagram has increased so much. At the time, people were willing to pay before delivery. So maybe would agree on the package that the person wants, and the person might pay, and then I would purchase the things with the paid money even before the delivery. So it was quite easier at the time when I started. But moving forward, just I'll say last year 2021, I faced so many security challenges with my Instagram page on my business. So first of all, my Instagram page was hacked. So I went to school. Yeah. I went to school and I wasn't on social media for a very long time. So I wasn't up to date on the current situation of security on Instagram. So when I came back, I started with my business page. I started posting stuff as usual and looking for clients. And someone sent me a message, one of my old clients. I think that person's page had already been hacked. And then they sent me a message that I'm one of your old clients. I'm going for a music competition. Please vote for me. And at that time, I wasn't on social media. Apparently, everybody knew that it was a new trick, but I didn't know about it. So I clicked to vote for her for the program. And when I logged into that website, they just took all my information, and then my page was taken away from me.
Oh.
So at that time, I was just panicking. I didn't know what to do because, like, I had really invested in my business. I told you, I used my personal funds, and then I put in so much effort. So I was really disturbed. So I posted on social media again. I had my personal Instagram page, and I also shared it with my friends and my sister as well. So when I shared it, that my page has been hacked, my sister told me about another person whose page had been hacked, and she was able to recover her Instagram page. So as I always say, the power of social media.
Yeah.
I linked up with the person and I told the person about the situation, and they recommended an IT person who was able to help me retrieve my Instagram page back. And that wasn't the only security problem I faced last year. Exactly a month after that, my page was disabled. My Instagram page was disabled for no reason. I was just posting. I don't know. I was just posting one day my pictures, and then I opened my the app to go to my page, and I wasn't getting access to the page. So I checked my email, and it said your Instagram page has been disabled. And I'm like, I don't know, but if you are supposed to disable my page, at least inform me of the rules violating, so that I can either correct it or but according to Instagram, they don't always tell you if they're going to disable your page. They can just disable it, but I don't really know why it was disabled. So I went back to the same IT person, and then he helped me to recover the account. So I would say for people who are working with social media, a lot with social media, one thing you have to put in mind is the security, because don't be quick to click any links that people send you. You might be sympathetic and be like, oh, those are my clients, I want to help the person. But just don't click any funny links that people send you, and just be careful about things that you're posting on social media. And on Instagram as well, you can set a 2-factor verification. So with that, you have to put your phone number and your email. So if someone is logging into your account with even your password, they need access to your phone, the messages, before they will be able to log in. At that time, I hadn't set up my 2-factor verification process. So that's how come I was in trouble. So if you're an Instagram business person here, I think you should check if your 2-factor verification is on, and also always get updated on the security tricks that are going on in your environment. So in Ghana, these are the tricks. I don't know in other countries what other tricks are in the
believe me, it's everywhere. Ghanaians are even learning from our side.
Yeah, so that's very, very, very important. Like, always be up to date on your Instagram. Also, you have to be changing your passwords constantly. Don't use the same passwords across all social media pages, because if someone is able to log into one, they will log into all your other pages. And another advice for people on Instagram is that try and have multiple avenues where people can reach you. So at the time, I didn't build any other avenue aside Instagram. So all my clients, I'll say like 95% of my clients reached out to me on Instagram. But with the lesson that I learned, I think you have to have multiple avenues. If you have the resources to start a website, I think you can start a website. I don't have one yet, but you can start a website and encourage your clients to always to purchase through your website. You can even give them a discount if they purchase on the website, so that you can have 2 different avenues in case something happens to one. And we all remember the time when Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp was shut down, and we didn't know what was going on. So if you have other means, we don't know when. It was a short period, but we don't know when it can last for several days, or something that cannot be resolved easily. So if you have a different avenue, it's helpful. And if you can't afford a website, another thing you can do is that you always have to collect your clients' contacts. Let them send you a message on WhatsApp, so that you have their contacts as well, so that in case there's anything with your page, you can inform them, so that they won't get scammed. If something happens and then someone, your account gets disabled, or someone hacks into your account, you can quickly send all your clients a message saying that they shouldn't respond to any messages from that account in this time period because it has been hacked. Yeah, so those are the challenges with people working I don't have a physical shop. So those are some of the challenges. And I mentioned earlier that I also had challenges with finding clients initially. But one thing that helped me was investing in the influencers, as well as with the people around you. So my sister has a lot of friends that were on her social media. So she always helped me by posting my flyers. My brother, my cousins as well, I always sent my flyers and kept on bombarding them every day to post for me. And that was really, really helpful. I'll say as I told, my first client was my own dad. So if you don't invest in the people around you,
thank you,
you
Daddy.
might think, okay. Yeah, thank you, Dad. You might think the first clients will be someone on the other side, but the people around you might be your very best and loyal clients. So invest in the people around you as well, and then also on social media.
Okay, nice one. I wish we could just go on and on and on and on. This is just on top of, like, not scripted, no presentation created, nothing, but the things you are saying, I'm into information systems, and
okay.
I can't help but appreciate all the things that you are saying. Anyway, that said, I do have a business, Silversoft Solutions, that offers website development, mobile app development. So if anyone watching this video needs a website, be it an informative website, an interactive website which is driven by database, or let me say, well, in simple terms,
or say in other words, an e-commerce website to help you sell your product, please do reach out, and my team can easily and within budgets sort you out and also help you maintain it over the period of time.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so maybe you'll be one of our clients very soon with your website.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. So now we've mentioned quite a lot of the challenges that you faced. On the other hand, what are some of the opportunities that you feel others have not discovered? You know, just a way of just putting out there some information, not to create competitors for yourself, but then what are the opportunities that you think we ought to be looking at?
Okay, so the challenges, as I've mentioned, can impede people's progress and then be a factor where people will say, okay, I don't have enough funds to start my business. I don't have enough funds to go do this workshop for entrepreneurs, so I wouldn't start. But I would say in this day and age of information overload, there's so much out there for free. There's so much out there for free. I can't stress enough on this. There's so much out there for free. If you want to know how to start a business, you can just Google how to start a business in Ghana on YouTube, and you'll find so many businesses. If you want to learn how to start doing makeup, you can just Google that, how to do anything at all. I was watching someone's Instagram page, and she was in the US, and she was teaching people how to do food packaging, Ghanaian food packaging, and then sell food in the US, Ghanaian food across states. So you'd be surprised to know that everything that you're looking for is on the internet. Maybe someone is in the US, is into the food business, wants to know how to package their jollof, their banku, their okra stew, and wants to know how to ship it across states. All of that information is on the internet for you to learn how to do it effectively. So I'll say that in this our generation, there's so much on the internet for free that we cannot sleep on. We cannot sleep on that information that we have. Aside that, we also, I would say for me personally, I had people around me who I could ask for information. My sister, she's older than me. She also has her own business, and she knows a lot of things in Ghana that I don't know about. And yes, so I was able to rely deeply on her information and the thing that she knew about to start my business. So I'll say that don't look too far. Don't think that the information that you need is in some world-class entrepreneur. It can be the person sitting next to you in your classroom if you're a student. It can be your sibling. It can be your parent. It can be anybody around you. So I'll say that also don't be afraid to reach out to people on the internet. Like if you want to start, let's say, a wrapping business, you can reach out to me. Oh, I'm this person. I want to learn how to wrap gifts. What do you think I should do? Where do you think I can get these products from? Not everybody will be willing to teach you, but I'm really sure that most people on the internet will be able to, other Ghanaian small business owners will be able to share the information. I don't know where to find everything, and sometimes I contact other small businesses online and ask them about places to find different things, and they are always willing to share. Even with my cake business, I was looking for a particular thing for a certain cake, and I had searched everywhere online. I wasn't able to find it, and I reached out to one baker, just thinking she might ignore me, she might respond. The worst thing she can do is to ignore you. But who knows? The person I reached out to responded and told me exactly where I could find what I was looking for. So don't be so scared. Yeah. Don't be so scared to reach out to people who you admire. You might be admiring someone on the internet right now, thinking they are doing so well in their business. You can reach out to them and ask them. They may not respond, but who knows? If they respond, that's good news for you. So I'll say one big opportunity for me is, one big advantage I think we should look out for is that if you don't have money to invest in your business now, you can always look for free resources to start your business. But as you build your business and you have a big vision for your business, that you don't want your business to be only like a small business where only a few people patronize. You want it to be something that is sustainable. When you have funds, I think a big thing you should do is to invest in professional help. So there are so many business strategists around who can help you with your business. Even as I mentioned, I don't have a website right now, and you said you can offer that solution to me at a reduced fee or a small fee. You might never know. You don't always do, if you want your business to actually go to a very big level, you shouldn't look always for the free things. You should actually invest money in your business, and then you will know that the returns is not comparable to how much you put in your business. Read books, invest in conferences, invest in seminars that you know that people have testified actually worked. You can also find a coach or a mentor, and these are really good resources that can be helpful to grow your business to the next level, because you can't do everything by yourself. And wisdom is not in the head of one person, as we know as an African woman. So just, invest in your business, start small and watch it grow.
Yeah, nice one. Can't thank you enough. Let me just chip in this before we go on. If any of you out there are considering going online in terms of getting your website, with regards to domain name registration, getting the hosting environment, the email package, all of that, please do look in the description. I have some recommendations there for you to that will help you get the best of package for if you're a startup or if you are up there, irrespective of your stage. If you need that online presence, I have some links in the description that should help you get started. Okay, Essie, I'm really loving this. I feel we should even do some monthly content for our audience. What do you think? I think that will go a long way. We can pick on some particular topic and then discuss and then offer more insights on those. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think I'm open to that.
Okay, all right, nice one. So one more thing before I let you go. Business, it's worth to keep an eye on your metrics, your KPIs. How are you managing that? And how do you know, well, I'm doing well as a business or I'm not doing well as a business?
Okay, so I don't know the technical names for all these things, but I know that one thing to measure the growth of your business is to keep records. So what I do, especially for my gift wrapping business, is every time there's a major season like Valentine's Day, Christmas, or different occasions, and even on a regular basis, I keep track of the gift packages that people buy the most, or people patronize the most, or the services that people patronize the most. So first of all, I put out content and I expect people to patronize what I have already put out. But aside that, I also have the custom packages where a customer can tell me, a client can tell me what they want, and then I can see if I can get it done for them. So I keep records of the things I put out there that people patronize a lot. So that I have a notebook that I keep all these records in. Aside that, on my Instagram page, Instagram gives a lot of information on interactions on your page. So if you look at your metrics on your Instagram page, you can see the number of the posts where people like the most, the posts that people save the most, people comment on the most, people respond to positively the most. So all these information help you to know which direction to take your business as someone who is starting. So you might have different ideas for your business, but you do not know the ones that to channel, to funnel most of your energy into, the ones that can, the ones that your clients like the most. I think looking at that and those metrics on Instagram is very, very helpful. So one time I did an ad for 2 different products. So I put 2 different products on my Instagram page, and then I promoted both of them differently on 2 different ad pages. So in my mind, I thought one of the packages that I put out there was the better one, where most people would prefer that one. But from the information I got from the ads that I did, I realized that it was a second package that people liked the most, commented the most.
That's the A/B testing.
So you'll be really surprised what your if you do not try to get all of that. I didn't look at the information on Instagram to know the ones that people are interacting with the most, I wouldn't know what my clients want. I might think I know, but I probably do not know. So that's what you should look out for. You always have to look at your Instagram metrics, and also always ask feedback from your clients, like honest feedback from your clients. I think that's also very, very helpful. So I always encourage my clients to give me reviews on customer service, what they wish could have been done better. And I always get lovely feedback from them to help me improve my business. So I'll say in some ways, record keeping, looking at the metrics, if you have Instagram or other social media pages, and also client feedback. Those are the ways I measure how my business is growing and how to improve my business.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Besides what you've mentioned, there are quite a number of metrics out there which go into specific different areas within the startup journey. So some of them, for instance, include the customer acquisition cost. That's basically the cost of acquiring a new customer. How much does it really cost you to get one new customer? That is quite separate from customer retention, say cost. Okay, how much does it cost you to retain that customer after you've acquired that customer? If you're able to determine these metrics, it helps you get an insight to where to really, well, as a business, it's okay. Let me just leave that and then just give you a few more over there. We have the customer lifetime revenue. We have the viral coefficient. We have the return on advertising. We have referral. We have monthly recurrent revenue. We have the burn rate. We have quite a lot. Some of other tools to even help you identify more of these metrics and how to actually measure all of them. We have tools like, say, North Star metric. It helps you create that pyramid system that guides you, your business. Where do you really focus on overall? What do you need to measure? What are you actually providing as a business? Or say, what service are you really serving your clients? And how do you measure that? Uber has got theirs. All these different companies have got theirs. So it's a question of, to offer this service, what and what do I need to look out for? What and what do I need to focus my attention, my resources on? And how do I know that I'm getting the best out of the limited resources that I'm actually putting out there? It helps you streamline your resources. It helps you stay focused. It helps you identify the drainage systems that are invisible, that are kind of taken away from your business and not bringing much in there. So look into the description if you want more of such content. There will be several different videos on that gives more detail.
Thank you.
Did that come out well?
Yes, that was really insightful. So I've heard about some of them, but I'm not really conversant with some of them that you mentioned. I've not heard about some of them, but I know a couple of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, when I'm editing the video, I might probably retake that side again and just bring some charts, try and make it a bit more detailed. Even if it's 2-3 minutes, at least it's becoming more insightful, more engaging, so people can start reading around that. And I'll try and then get that video out as well, that gives that detail, that explains what to look out for if you're a startup and how to streamline your resources.
Thank you.
All right. But so far, how are we doing?
Yeah, it's been a great interview. I've learned a lot from you as well. So
But I haven't even said much.
No, I've learned a lot about the cyber security side as well. I didn't know you were into building websites and then all of that, and also how to measure how your business is going. Yeah, because sometimes we waste money on doing ads, but we are not also investing in trying to retain your customers and your clients, and they are already in, so it costs less to keep them. We're always looking for new ones. So I think that's also insightful.
All right, nice one. So let's try and then wrap it up because it's getting longer. Okay. So a quick one, not to go into politics, but do you think there are any government interventions that can help startups in Africa? And if any, what do you think the government should be focusing on?
Okay, so I think my first thing is that we have to incorporate that into our education system, because I feel like when I was in the US, I had the opportunity to have seminars and get opportunity to get exposed to how to start a small business and all of that at school. I actually had a professor that I reached out to learn how to start a business in school, and it was that easy. I just sent him an email, and then I was able to have a chat with him. He gave me some information on that. I don't know why I was interested in entrepreneurship at that stage. All I knew, I wanted to go into med school, but I just reached out to him and he was able to give me the necessary information. So I would say that looking at our economy, I'm not an economist, I don't know much about economics, but I would say that looking at the economy of our country right now, where most people have to start their own businesses, and then there's not enough jobs for everyone, I think we should incorporate entrepreneurship skills into our education system, so that at a young age people know what entrepreneurship is all about, how to manage your money. That's like very necessary. Like even with the amount that you have, how do you manage it effectively so that you don't borrow or you are not always, broke or something. So that is very important. And then with the specific skills on entrepreneurship, the skills you need, how to start, how to register your business. At least if we have these seminars that are open to all students, no matter your background. So it wouldn't be only for business students, it can be for anyone studying any course in the university. I think that's where it starts, when people are exposed to the basics of entrepreneurship. I think that's very important. And aside that, with the challenges I mentioned, I said one of the challenges for me was the startup funding. So there could also be avenues for small businesses. I'm not conversant with the avenues that are available right now. I don't know of any. So maybe if there are some there, I would have to find them out. But I would say it has to be accessible to all. Like if there are opportunities for funding, it should be accessible to everyone. Every citizen should be able to have access to that funding. And with that, I would also say that since we now have the Ghana card system and registration of SIM cards and everything, we have more information about the people in the population. So it's easy to track someone if the person has come for a loan and you're worried about the person not being able to pay and all of that. I think right now that worry should be reduced. So funding should be available for everyone. That's what I think. That's my perspective.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's very, very important, because if you compare the Western environment to the African countries, you can clearly tell that with the Western environments, there are lots of support available, but it's almost not the same within the African sub-regions. But then one can also argue that out and say we have the support in Africa, but it's a matter of communicating that information to as many as possible, and giving that guidance as to how to even access those resources. So there's a lot to do in that regard. And I do believe that in the long run, these interactions we are having on a daily basis through, say, platforms like this can help inform as many as possible. We are trying to build a database of available resources within the African ecosystem and also around the world, in UK, in US, in the other parts of the world. It's a huge project, all right? But then we are doing our best to compile as much as we can and then making it available, and also including information, adding the information that one needs as to how to access these resources and the things not to do or the mistakes to avoid. So it's also part of the content that we are building to help each other grow and become successful as startups, or say as individuals working within the corporate environment. Yep. Yeah. All right, so are there any questions for me so far?
So I don't really know much about your background. So what I'll say is that what is one advice you would give to startups or people from the IT perspective? What is one thing that you tell somebody who is starting a new business in this era?
I would say it's all about research. Technology, unlike the food or other industries, is quite different, I must admit. With the food industry, we are all eating. Everyone will eat every single day. You know, no matter what is being eaten, someone is eating, someone is drinking, you know. But then it's quite different from the tech space. With the tech space, you might think this is your breakthrough, but before you realize, in a blink, and something new is out there. Yours has just become outmoded, you know, in a snap. So do lots of research. Try to engage as many as possible. Find out the pain points of individuals, and that's where one of my professors who I work with on different levels, Professor Adomeja from Design Thinking Ghana, will tell you that you need to try and then consider looking at things from design perspective, design thinking perspective, try and then engage the user. Who are you trying to serve? What product are you trying to produce? What value does it offer to the individual you are trying to engage? So if you think that maybe what you are doing is a breakthrough, so you are in your home and you are developing the whole thing, that's not the best way. You know, so do your research, but as part of all of that, try and then find out your unique selling position, okay, and then try and then engage the customer as much as possible to understand their pain points and then how best to solve that need for them. I also encourage working in an agile manner. With agile, you're able to adapt and respond to the changing needs of the customer you're trying to engage, you're trying to serve, you're trying to offer value to. So in the tech space, it's a different ball game altogether. If you're able to do your research well, you will be able to identify some of those areas that people will always, almost all the time, find the need to engage. You know, so if you're able to enter into those areas, lucky you. But irrespective of whatever it takes, research is very, very important. And you must also do, or say, make time and then come up with your business plan to understand your industry, your business, and what it would take for you to succeed before you make a move. Because if you're not careful, you end up reinventing the wheel. You start this, you stop, you start that, you stop. And that's not the right way to go, because you encourage burnout, you encourage frustration, and you end up almost all the time giving up, you know, but that's not the right way to go. So lots of research, considering design thinking approach, engaging the customer, finding out their pain points, trying to also provide for them what they need, not what you think they need, and also doing things in an agile manner, you know, not going to ask them one thing, find out what they need, going back thinking that that's all they need. After a month or 2 or 3 or 4, you think you're all set. So that's it. No, it doesn't work that way. You try and then engage them at all times in an agile manner to understand the changing trends of the environment and the changing needs of your customer. So that's more like a general that's an advice from a general perspective. We could go into detail, believe me, but well, in discussing tech, I believe you appreciate we have several different areas within the tech space that require its specific advice, but we will go into that later on. So I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. But believe me, tech is not going anywhere. We have lots of opportunities, believe me, lots and lots of opportunities, you know. So yeah, we will also discuss that later on. Even from what you have just mentioned right now, there are some things that I've been thinking of whilst you were speaking. If you have interest in the tech space, you mentioned that you went to an IT person, right, to seek some advice, and then they were able to help you out. Yeah. That is one area. You know, cybersecurity, being able to identify the changing trends and then offering solutions to help companies. You are one startup. Imagine the bigger picture, governments being hacked, like banks being hacked. People go through that all the time. From an information systems perspective, okay, the biggest threat to any company or any environment, any institution is the employee. No matter how robust, complex, and secure your system is, it will take one person to break it, to flaw it, okay, and to create that path for there to be an intrusion or for others to just invade your system and then get whatever it is that they want. So if you're able to manage your employees really, really well, believe me, I think I'm probably going off topic now, but it's a whole discussion, you know, and there are lots of opportunities in there. Social media marketing is one, because you've engaged the service of people in there to help your business. You also mentioned influencers, and then guess what? As part of your submission, you mentioned that you skipped the top influencers and then you targeted the young influencers. So if you're out there as a starter and you are an influencer, or you're hoping to be an influencer someday, don't hesitate. Start, because someone out there is looking for you to engage your service, because they can't afford the top guys who charge lots of money. But with your approach, for now, you might think you're not seeing any results, but believe me, by remaining consistent, by making progress every single day, and believing in your business, you will get the attention you're looking for. And believe me, the journey will be worthwhile. But at that point, until you get there, don't give up, keep pushing, because Essie, myself, several others out there are rooting for you and are looking for your services. So keep doing what you're doing. If you're looking for some exposure, it's free of charge. Come, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. You never know who is watching, who is listening, and who might give you a call or send you a message to engage your services. So let's build this network together. I think I'm talking too much.
No.
Yeah. So what I always ask almost everyone is, what scares you most as a startup?
Okay, so with my current situation, as I told you, my business was hacked last year, and then my Instagram page was disabled. I would say one of my biggest fears is in regards to security, because I feel like from my experience, I realized that it's so unsafe on the internet right now. It's so unsafe on the internet. If you even ask most people who are always on Instagram and purchase online all the time, they will tell you the number of times they've been scammed and all these people out there. So I would say that one of my biggest fears is security, and hopefully I would always be up to date on the changing trends so that my business will not go through the same thing that it went through the previous time. So the effect of being hacked is not only on me. So imagine if the person who hacked my account had gone to message a client and said, "This is Essie from RapGH, this and this and that," and then they extorted money from the person. Yeah. My image would have been at stake, and my client would also have been scammed. So there are multiple people involved in this problem. So I'm trying as much as possible to be more conscious of my presence on social media and how I manage my page.
Mm-hmm. All right, nice one. All right, that's a good one. So over there, if you are watching this video and you are into reputation management, that is one area to focus on, reaching out to companies and then offering your services, and of course being able to partner with cybersecurity companies, or say security focused companies. Okay, and then being able to offer reputation management services to companies out there, and also to government and individuals out there. That's also one area that others can look out for. If you're watching this video and you're interested, try and then consider it. Is there any advice, let's say your top 5 lessons or your top 5 advice for people out there if they want to make it, if they want to succeed, irrespective of whatever industry, be it medicine, be it startup business, whatever, as an individual, as a company, as an entity, living being, what top 5 advice would you give to such an individual?
Okay, so top 5. I would say my first one, being a Christian and believing in God. My first one is have a good relationship with God. I feel like for everything that I have been through, from the changing seasons in my education and my business, God has been my biggest support. Everything from moving from one level to the other, I always pray to God for guidance and direction. So as I said initially, when I was finishing my undergrad, I prayed to God for my next steps. What do you think is the best way to go? And it will not always come to you as my daughter, this is where I want you to go. But deep within you, you will have this strong, I would say, intuition and knowing that this is the direction that God wants you to go to. So I'll say that build a strong relationship with God, an intimate relationship with God, and He can reveal your true purpose on this earth. Imagine if I went to do something else aside going to do my master's and progressing onto it. I might not have learned the same lessons that I have learned that are helping me now. It doesn't matter. You can make mistakes, you can detour, but you should always remember to come back to God and always pray and ask for His direction for your life and then His purpose for each season of your life, where He wants you to be at each point of your life. So that would be my first tip for success. I would always want to be in the will of God. The second thing I will say is knowing yourself. So if I say knowing yourself, I think you should take time to think about who you are as a person, your strengths, your weaknesses, your likes, your dislikes, the opportunities available to you, and then your challenges that you think you would face. So with regards to my education, as I'm in medical school now, I'll say for someone who is interested in science, not everyone wants to be a doctor. Not everyone wants to work in the hospital environment because that's not where they enjoy to be. Someone might be in research, someone would like to do engineering, some would want to be in business. It could be anything. So I'll say know who you truly are first of all. Don't do something because everyone is doing it. Don't go into this industry because you saw someone going into it. Know that this is what I really want to do. And then this is where my real interest lies, because I'll say there's no course that's easy. So if you go into medicine and that's not where you're supposed to be, it will be easy for you to just give up and drop out because it requires a lot of personal sacrifice and then personal discipline. So if you're not willing to sacrifice this for your purpose or for your business or whatever you are looking to do, I don't think if it's not who you are, you'll be able to be successful. And so knowing yourself also is really helpful because, for example, if you're a student and you're looking to pass your exam, let's say there's an exam that you want to prepare for, knowing yourself is very, very important. Are you a morning person or a night person? Do you learn better in the evenings or you learn better when you wake up at dawn? If you follow what other people are always telling you to do, if you see your roommates waking up at dawn to learn, how else you know that you better learn in the evening rather than at dawn? You'll be wasting your own time. So I'll say that one very key thing for me that I learned was for success in anything that I did ever was to know myself, to know what works for me. Always try new things and just really take time to know who you truly are. And that's very important in being successful. So another one, the third one I'll say is dedication or diligence, or let's say hard work. So nothing comes easy. Being good in school doesn't come easy. People are not born, some people might be born intelligent, but you can always put in effort and get the results that you are looking for. You can, if you practice whatever you are being taught in school all the time, if you're always studying, looking for ways to improve your study skills, to retain more information, apply it, through hard work and diligence, you would make it. There's no one who was born dumb or something. We all have what it takes to get to where we are looking for. Even if when you look at business, people in business, somebody who is doing extremely well, they didn't start by being extremely good. They started from somewhere and built up to that level. So I would say persistence is very, very key. You will have so many challenges along the way. Like my business, when it was hard, I almost gave up because I was like, I don't know whether it's safe to get the business back because it can be hacked again. But it has to be persistent. If you want your business to grow, one challenge should not kick you or take you down. Many challenges will come. I know there has been a few challenges along the way, and as I'm going ahead, I know bigger ones will come. But you should be persistent, knowing that no matter the challenges, you'll be able to go through. Even if you're a student, sometimes you fail a course, but it's not the end of your life. You have to wake up, sit down, and then make a plan on how to get to where you are going or what you want to do. So that's what I would say for my third one. And then for the fourth one, I would say that you should always look for ways to improve yourself. Don't always, if you find one method that works for you, maybe you are looking to gaining new clients and you think working with a specific influencer got you, let's say, 100 new clients. That shouldn't be the end of it. When you get more funding, invest in other avenues for finding new clients, invest in other ways of growing your business, invest in other ways of retaining your clients. So I would say that never settle, or don't think wherever you've reached is just don't settle for less. There's always more that you can do as a student. There's always more that you can achieve. It's not only learning in the classroom what you are being taught. You can further do things that you might not know that are available to you. When you talk to your professors, when you talk to your colleagues, there may be opportunities for knowing more things as a student. You can have opportunities for research that you never knew about. If you thought the classroom system was the only way for you, there might be internship opportunities that you've never heard about if you don't interact with other people. So I would say always don't settle for less. Always look out for rooms to improve yourself, to improve your business. For personal development, you can always read books, good books, listen to speakers on how to improve yourself and then how to just get better at anything that you are doing. And then with the last one, I'll say networking. So a lot of opportunities that I got in my education, finding internships, most of them I got through networking. So my very first internship at Gucci, I met a friend, and she's the one who Pearl, she's the one who recommended, who told me about your channel. So she has been really, really helpful throughout my career journey. She has been able to, she linked me to a doctor who I was able to work with for research. She even shared a certain job opportunity for me when I came back from my master's, but because I was interested in other things, I wasn't able to pursue that opportunity. So I would say networking is very, very, very key. So as you're also looking to gain from others, be willing to give. If someone is looking out for you and always showing you opportunities where you can get internships, where you can get maybe this and that opportunity, be willing to also share with other people. If you know something, someone is looking for that information, don't keep it to yourself. It's very nice if all your friends or people around you are succeeding because all of you are able to share and interact with each other about the opportunities that you are all experiencing, because we all have access to things that other people don't have access to. I have access to knowledge in business that somebody who is not starting doesn't have access to. And other friends have access to people in my industry that I don't know about. So if you build a very good network, you'll be able to receive from others. And in that same regard, be willing and open to sharing that information with others. And I think with these 5, they are great tips for success in anything that you are doing.
Yeah, they are. Indeed, they are. Essie, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's been so wonderful. One last question before we wrap up. I keep saying last. Please bear with me. Okay.
No problem.
Are you open to partnerships? And that's one. And also, if any of the business schools out there or any research institution who are focused on startups or the African ecosystem or any other area that has to do with your expertise, your key areas of expertise, are you open for collaboration? Are you open to work with them? I've been approached already by a few research individuals, institutions, and I'm hoping that we could use this platform to offer or to create that collaborative and engaging network where we're able to pair like startups with research institutions and funding agencies and you name it. So are you open to such collaboration?
Yes, I'm open to collaborations with researchers and funding opportunities, and I'm also open to sharing my experience or whatever I know with
put together the whole content, and I'll let you know when I'm done. So you watch it, you edit it, and then, or not necessarily edit it, you just tell me if it's okay or you want some areas plus this minus this, that kind of stuff. Then once you are 100% satisfied with the video, then I'll make it available to the world.
Okay.
Okay. So how do we end it?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this interview as well. I'm really glad that you invited me and I was able to share what I know. And I'm also glad that you're open to tell me about what you also know with the areas that I wasn't so conversant with.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. There'll be more content, so please do subscribe. Tell your network to also subscribe, and then together we can all learn as much as possible. I'll try and also bring on board mentors who mentor entrepreneurs, startups, and then try and see how best we can also create our own virtual incubator that's what can help startups grow, become better. And like you said, if my neighbor or my colleague is succeeding and I have a network of people who are always succeeding, if I have 9 millionaires, it's likely I'll be the 10th millionaire. If I have 9 wise people, it's likely I'll be the 10th wise person. So it's a matter of surrounding ourselves with positive energy. And that's all this network or this platform, this channel is about. So thank you so much for making the time to be with us.